Tony, I used the Jeopardy music last week because we were doing like a development call, and then I had a clap, like applause track when we deployed it.
That's awesome.
You have to have fun in life, otherwise it's just too serious.
Yes, yes, you do. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming today to TMC Connect. We very much appreciate you taking time out of your day to be with us. We have got a great speaker today, Brad Ketcher, Vice President, Ignite Integration Solutions, one of our wonderful preferred partners here at the Mortgage Collaborative. I'm Tony Bramley, Director of Business Development here at the Collaborative, and we are just so thankful that you're here with us today. Brad is going to talk to us about essential Encompass tools through Ignite Solutions, integrated solutions. And so wanted to just let you guys know that you have come in today on mute, but we do want it to be engaging. So please drop your questions into the chat or the Q&A, and we'll address those as we go through the presentation. So without further ado, Brad, I'm going to turn it over to you. Oh, and you will get a follow-up email tomorrow with a link to the video of this session. So thank you very much.
Excellent. And I'll also send you Ignite's catalog. So we have 50 plus different solutions, and happy to help out wherever we can. So first and foremost, thank you everybody for your time and your interest in today's demonstration. So my name is Brad Ketcher. I'm with Ignite Integration Solutions. There's a lot to see with a little bit of time, so I'm going to try my hardest to gloss over the 7 or 8 solutions that have been highlighted. And if you want a one-on-one demonstration, or if you want to ask questions, by all means, ask questions through the chat. I'm here to help out. So going through this, I just want to provide quick introductions of myself and Ignite. Also a roadmap of our call, and then we'll have the live demonstrations. If there's anything that I really want to convey and illustrate on this call, it's the depth and quality of our solutions, along with the pride of workmanship. Ignite will deploy and configure the solutions so therefore they can meet within your environment, your workflow, and at the same time, we could also host applications. So try to take as much on our shoulders as possible. So Ignite was officially formed in 2013. We primarily focus on Encompass and automation. We are a collection of software developers, all full-time, all in-house, and we do not outsource any type of development. And the other half is more professional, so me included. So I've been a loan officer, head of sales, head of processing, head of capital markets twice, and now oversaw a $3 billion asset management firm of basically reperforming residential loans and managed 4 different sub-servicers. So I'm just one spoke of the wheel. We have an amazing team here with about 20 people. Our sister company is Smashbox, if you're familiar with them, and we collectively can really help and cater to any of your Encompass needs. We also work with other LOSs as well. During today's demonstration, you're going to notice that most of Ignite solutions have user interfaces. That's very important because every Encompass environment is unique. It's kind of like a fingerprint. So we will try to cater our solutions and also allow for scalability. During a normal demonstration, I ask for people to give me curveballs, which is pretty funny. So I want to use my mortgage knowledge and Ignite solutions to prove to you that our solutions can really fit within your workflow and deliver what you're looking for, and also have the user adoption. I don't want to walk down this yellow brick road and just say that our solutions only work for this one scenario. So if you do have any curveballs or any specific questions, by all means, please send them in through the chat. All right, so we're going to go through, I kind of broke this up into 2 different parts. One is the starter kit. I feel like almost every Encompass environment should have the starter kit. Loan information panel provides a lot more visibility within the loan. Auto folder transfers, incredibly important because a loan starts off in the prospects folder. When RESPA 6 is met, it normally should go to my pipeline. When the loan is closed, it should go to the close folder or the purchase folder. So this way, business intelligence reports are accurate, because there's nothing worse than when a loan is about to close and it's in the proposed pipeline. So the other part is that if it's an employer loan, it should go into a different channel. Sandbox, very functional, and when a loan is locked, the user is, or the loan officer is normally locked out of that loan. So when the borrower calls up and can you work with this scenario or that, then normally the loan officer has to create like a spreadsheet on the side. So we could avoid all that. And I'll go through the demos. In a nutshell, we are kind of in the data business. We're aggregating data from the borrower, and that's from the Quick app and from the appraisal and everything else. So we're obtaining the data, we're reviewing the data, and then we're selling the data. So then the big question is, how can we just make this process faster and simpler? It's really just taking the data point and just going through the normal course and then just spitting it out in the end. Between our auto folder transfer, our loan information panel, our condition manager automation, and our auto roll assignment, we can really help revolutionize the origination cycle and help you and your company. When it comes down to tasks, it's really, many tasks are time intensive, prone to mistakes. There could be multiple different systems speaking within each other. We want to make Encompass the center system of record, and then a lot of tasks are repetitive. We could help avoid a lot of that. And then here's our catalog, which I could send after this webinar. So going through it, so this is now like live demonstration. So I have two different systems. On the left side is basically a loan officer setup. On the right side is an Encompass admin setup. So in terms of the auto folder transfer, so if I was to click on the HMDA information screen, so there's a HMDA field right here, was a 1393. So if I was to change this to application denied, which normally there's going to be a business rule, or if somebody has to manually change this, by clicking on this loan denied, once I click save, it's going to have our application just automatically register that the loan, it's going to register that the loan has changed. It's going to provide a pop-up saying that certain criteria has been met and that the loan has been moved. Here it is. The criteria has been met to auto move this loan. It's going to move from training to the adverse loan. So it has happened. It's not a pop-up of saying, as a reminder, you need to fulfill this action. We really believe that automation means hands off the keyboard, hands off the mouse. It should just work. So I'm going to close out of this loan, but that's how our system works. It's configurable to your environment. So if you want different criteria, we could work with you on the trigger events that happen that make the loan go from folder to folder. Again, it's not just a pop-up and a reminder. It's that these actions have actually taken place. Going into, I'll find, here's a lock loan. So if I enter the loan, you're going to notice that I cannot change loan amount. I cannot change term, rate, all those different fields because they're locked down because the loan itself is locked. So if I go into the first page, if I try to, let's see, hold on one second. So if I try to change the purchase, oops, sorry, the loan amount or anything, I'm clicking and I'm not able to make any change. However, if I exit out of here and go into the loan through the sandbox mode, which if you right click in the pipeline, here's sandbox, you're going to receive a pop-up saying any changes that you make will not be saved right here. You're entering sandbox mode. You're not allowed to save any changes. Hit OK. You enter the loan. The benefit is that all the screens, all the fields that you were able to see beforehand, you could see now without any restrictions. But when you exit the loan, you cannot save your work. So here I am going into page 1 of the 1003, just to be a little bit nostalgic. And let's see, sorry about that. So when I look at the loan amount, if I change this to 150,000, I could change the interest rate, which let's hope we don't see 6% for a long time. But if I change it to 4%, it's all calculating. So the benefit is I'm not a loan officer with a side spreadsheet that's panicking, frantically typing and trying to figure out what the borrower is asking for. If they increase their loan amount to pay this debt, how much cash do they have at the closing? Instead, all the fields are right here. It's all calculating. I'm operating in Encompass like I normally do. So I could go through all the different scenario places that I can. So that's a huge benefit for Sandbox. Notice on the top right, the save icon is grayed out. We have a little bit of a reminder here that the loan's in Sandbox mode. And this is loan number 828. So if I look at my other screen, which here's loan number 828, if I hit refresh, it shows that nobody's in the loan. Okay, that's fantastic. So I can have a loan officer, maybe the branch manager, maybe the junior underwriter, all enter the loan under Sandbox, and the fourth, fifth, sixth person decides not to enter the loan under Sandbox, and now they have editable rights. That's a big deal. So now that whole choreography of you go first, I'll wait, and supposed to wait 20 seconds, but now it's 30 seconds, a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes of that person literally just sitting in their chair, waiting for that loan to be finally occupied so that they could hop in second. The choreography has been, dismissed, and now you could actually be more functional. What other use cases? A lot of times a closer wants to take a sneak peek at a loan before the underwriter gives their final clear to close. The closer could enter the loan through Sandbox, so this way it's not interrupting the whole chain of events. So let's see. So now that I'm here, so I might as well just kind of like use this scenario. If I exit out of here, so that's Sandbox. Another tool just to kind of like bring up, since I have two different users. If I right click, I could use, so here, let me hit refresh. If I click on our knock knock solution, so most of us are still working remotely. So all too many times that somebody's hovering in a loan file and you want to reach out and say, can I have access to that loan? Instead of just reaching out and not getting a response, it's always nice to understand what's happening. So we have this little like mini instant messenger that user A is asking for the loan, user B is in the loan file. If I wait a couple of minutes, I still don't have access, I could try it again. And now you can see, it's always nice to know when technology works. So here's request was successfully sent, I could hit okay. And then the user on the right, now I have a total of 2 requests. If it turned out to be a manager and other people, I could respond individually, or I could respond to everybody all at once. And I could say, do not disturb, do not disturb, need a little bit more time, and this is configurable, or you're welcome to the file. Hit send request. Now user B that wants access to the file gets a message, you're welcome to the file. And then here I could exit out. I don't want to save anything. When I exit, user B gets a pop-up. The loan you requested to work on is now closed. So that also helps out kind of like as a reminder that you asked for access to this loan. It's been 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. You probably forgot that you wanted access. And then this is a reminder of that loan is now available. Okay, so the other solution that you kind of saw beforehand is our loan information panel. So at this moment, this is the normal panel that Encompass delivers. It doesn't tell you the purpose of the loan. Is it a purchase? Is it a refinance? Is it a VA loan? Do they have a 520 score or do they have an 820 score? That's a big difference. So we have our loan information panel. This is specific to the user's role. So we don't believe in what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So it's now specific to the user's role. Processors see what they want to see. Loan officers see what they want to see. Capital markets sees what they want to see. How great is it that instead of having to hop in between screens, you could see data points right there that speak to what you need to see. So that's the first thing. The other part is that we have hyperlinks. So if it's blue, that's going into form pages. If it's green, it's going into tools pages. And then if you hover on top, it's showing you the field ID of what we're corresponding to. So that's field 1172. This is field number 52. This is going to be 1401. So for new Encompass users, it's a nice guide to help them as a to-do list, and two, now they're finding the different fields that they want to use. So these are what I would consider the starter kit. I feel like just about every Encompass environment should have them. They're incredibly helpful in terms of workflow. Now moving along to more sophisticated solutions, we have our Audit Explorer. So if I click on the Audit Explorer here, I could click either in my pipeline, just right click on the loan, or while I'm in the loan, I could click search, and this is going to give me user level changes. So it's going to look at the field IDs and tell me what has been changed by who and when. Now, the next question is, when you look at the native audit trail, that field has to be in the reporting database and then also added to the audit trail. The problem with this is that for the audit trail is that if you have 300, maybe even 500 fields, so every time the user clicks save, Encompass has to go one by one by all those fields and take a snapshot, and that's going to be saved in the audit trail. The more fields you add, clearly, the longer the audit trail is going to take. So then when the user clicks save, if you have 2,000 fields in the audit trail, it's going to take a long time to save and add that latency that the users see. Our solution doesn't work that way. We are basically monitoring user level actions, then we're making a web service to a database. So it's operating basically on top of the system, and you will not see any latency related to our solution, number one. Number two, all the field IDs that a user is changing, except for virtual fields, but all field IDs are being captured by our solution. The fields do not have to be in a reporting database. So if I know that the income has changed, okay, and I hit search, you're going to notice within the description, all of these fields have the word income within the description. So if I know I'm just arbitrarily 1758, so if I type in 1758, now I have the ping pong match of the before and after. This is basically, this is a huge, huge deal for an Encompass admin, because every company is going to have the finger pointing of, I did not change it, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. You could have with definitive that this is at this time by this user. You could export it to a spreadsheet if you wanted to. And then coming back to the audit trail, if you only have 500 fields in the audit trail because you want a quick, slim system, the problem is the Encompass admin only has 500 fields to use for investigating what happened. That's not a lot. And normally a field is added to the audit trail after the fact of, I wish I had this field there. Instead, we are, if I remove this and hit search, just kind of restart, you could see that this is CX, all custom fields. Again, it doesn't have to be in a reporting database. That's a very big deal. Oh, before I forget, and just to gloss over, in terms of persona rights, you could have full access to all fields. So like EVPs or Encompass admins can have access to all the fields, or you could have a limited setting. So maybe you want 100 fields or so that loan officers, processors, underwriters can utilize this solution for borrower name, address, rate, loan amount, some like low-hanging fruit that everybody should be able to see. So that's the Audit Explorer. I forgot to mention for the loan information panel, which is right here. So we have a user interface, and most of our solutions have a user interface. So this way they meld within your existing workflow, and they're configurable and scalable. So all you would have to do is click on a user. If you want to add a field, add a hyperlink, you can. If I add a field, it's once again, all field IDs, non-virtual fields, are at your disposal. So if I just arbitrarily typed in, let's see, 1811. So now I found field 1811, I hit select, nobody knows what that means. I double click it and I can rename it anything I want. And this is under accounting. Okay, so if I click into, if I have more than one persona, maybe I'm a loan officer and maybe I'm a branch manager, I could just toggle back and forth between my personas. In this circumstance, if I click on accounting, you could see all the way on the right, rename. And that's what I just created. If people want some more real estate, they could hide it, they could show it, whatever you need. So we've gone through 5 solutions already, 3 more to go. The next 3 are really great enhancements to really speed up your system. The first one is going to be condition automation. So I can click here. Here's our condition manager. This is only an Encompass admin has capabilities of seeing this and using this. That's important because the admin knows which fields you're using for what. There are 5 different fields for property type, 8 different fields for funding date. So in the end, you want to make sure that the right person knows how to use it. To set up a condition, and let's see. So I personally look at this as a file cabinet. So start off with income, and then I could say self-employed in Texas. Okay, and then I have a second row that I can name. I could write a whole paragraph, or you could just maybe put the date that it goes into production. Underneath that, you have 3 different folders in the E folder, and this is for standard conditions. And before I forget, we have created the enhanced condition version of this, acts differently. So the standard conditions work through the SDK, enhanced conditions work through the APIs. So totally different solutions for the same purpose. And we have both available if you need. So under the E folder now, under standard conditions, you have preliminary conditions, which I say maybe 5% of the people I talk to use that, underwriting conditions, and then post-closing conditions, which I've yet to find anybody that uses post-closing conditions. But let's say that this is going to be underwriting conditions. You have 2 choices. It could be a manual execution of the conditions, which is a drop-down right here where a person says, I want to refresh my conditions, or you could have it automated. When the user clicks save, then we'll interrogate the loan and add conditions accordingly. So I'm going to leave that as manual. And then from here, I'm going to scroll down, look for income. And then I found my business tax returns. I need my pay stubs, K1s, profit and loss statement, and tax transcripts. Okay, so now I've picked out my conditions. We're also showing any type of documents that are related to the conditions, and then I start building out my rules. So the first rule might be you could say don't apply conditions until a milestone has been met, or you might want to apply the conditions all the way in the beginning. So this way the loan officer or even the processor know what to collect. So from here, I'm going to say FE0115 is borrower self-employed. I'll add another condition of FE0215 is co-borrower self-employed. And then the last one, because it's for Texas, and I'll just say TX. Hit OK. Think of if-then statements within Excel. So I'm going to drop the self-employed, double click on the and, that gives me a drop down for an or, and then now I have, because Texas is standard, so if it's in Texas and either co-borrower or borrower self-employed, apply those conditions. It's really that easy and that intuitive to create condition logic. I will say that we have offered for the last year and a half of, if you want Ignite to create the conditions for you, I can. It's very simple. Just extract your conditions in the spreadsheet. I'll create 2 columns. Column on the left is English of all FHA loans. Column on the right is 1172 equals FHA. And then we'll have a phone call. Make sure that you agree with my logic. Once you give me the thumbs up, I'll create it. So resources are really constrained at this moment. And I want to make sure that you understand that we're here for you and we want to provide you the resources to ramp up the technology in your environment as fast as possible. So on the manual side, so if I look at the E folder, underwriting conditions, you will see the source is right here. So if Ignite added the condition, it's right there. If it's Ignite automated, it'll be differentiated. If it was a manual or a condition set, it'll say that. So the other thing I want to say is that if Ignite adds the condition, the most juvenile status is added, which is right here. Everything else is fulfilled, cleared, waived. So the reason why that's important is because, say, for example, the loan starts as conventional, and then you want to move it to FHA. So those conventional conditions really don't apply or might not apply anymore. So we are asking you, we're going to remove anything that's Ignite added status is going to be removed. Then we're going to look at it with a fresh set of eyes and then reattach conditions. So that's where the pop-up is. Do you want to proceed, yes or no? If you hit yes, we're going to proceed. If you look at, this is our condition gauge. I have 16 conditions on this loan. I'm going to hit yes, and look at that start dropping down. So what we're doing is we're removing conditions that don't apply to this loan, and then we're looking at it so from a fresh set of eyes. I don't think anybody else's solutions, including Encompass's or like ISMT's auto conditions, performs that way. The other part is that our logic could go super deep. Is the loan in Texas? Is it a cash out? Is the LTV over 75%? Then do this. We can break out conditions into trees, if this and that or this. It's a very, very robust technology that we could help set up for you. So that's the auto conditions. I will say that a lot of companies really like the manual approach. So this way underwriters are always nervous. What has changed on this loan since the last time I saw it? So therefore, by just applying it themselves, they feel a lot more comfortable that the loan has been reinterrogated. To that point, you can actually take our solution and have a loan go from loan officer straight to underwriting, because the processor in the middle is, let me back up. The underwriter will never, ever trust a processor to review income or review the appraisal. The only thing that's left is looking at field IDs. Are they a US citizen? Are they a renter? Have they been in the house for 2 years? Do they have children? Are they divorced? I mean, it's all just looking at field IDs, which we could program and I could program for you. So next step is looking at auto conditioning. So this is basically, it's a round robin solution, but built incredibly well. So this user interface is going to look very similar to the condition automation that we just built. Once again, I like starting off with as if it's a file cabinet. This is underwriting, and then I will say that this is going to be for org 123. So you could actually say the underwriter is going to always be assigned to this branch. It could be the field for logic, for condition manager, and for auto roll assignment. The fields do not have to be in the reporting database. So here's the underwriter. Okay, I'll say underwriter 1, underwriter 2. I'll add new condition, and then the first thing I'll do is I'll use my binoculars, because say like I don't know the field that I'm looking for, and I'll say submit. Okay, and then here's log date submit. Okay, which is a milestone date. I have my sub filter. I'll say is not empty. Then I'll go into another one and I'll say org ID contains 1, 2, 3. I can do 1172 equals FHA. So now all of a sudden it's just, there's my FHA pool, my VA pool, my streamline pool, and then hit OK, and that's it. So it's a round robin, underwriter 1, underwriter 2, underwriter 1, underwriter 2. It just goes back and forth. So again, you could get as granular as you like, or you could get as like kind of as broad as you want. The other part that we heard from a lot of our clients was asking, what about load balance? So that's excellent. So we created a new column of daily max. So the max, I could say that Galena is max to 3 loans per day. Maybe she's new to the role, new to the company. You want to test her out before you allow her to have 9 or 10 loans per day. We have enable disable. Somebody's on vacation. Somebody just had a child. Somebody's out sick. They're disabled. They come back. They're re-enabled. Now you don't have to look at and unwind all these different rules. The other part is that the manager should be managing the people. So the admin has capabilities for creating rules, and then the manager is looking at the people and managing their daily max count. So you could deputize somebody. So they're a manager today. I'm on vacation. I come back from vacation and I take it away. So simple, straightforward. So that's, now we're at 7 out of our 8 of our solutions. And the last one is our TMI log. So the conversation log that's native to Encompass right now, the biggest impediment is if the loan is occupied, only one person could edit a loan at a time. So therefore, if I'm the loan officer, I just spoke to a client, but the processor's in the loan, pretty much any notes that I want to take, I have to wait for the processor to exit the loan. And chances are, was there a 10% likelihood that I'm actually going to go back in and put those notes in? So instead, we have, if I right click, here's our TMI log. I could go for the full user interface, or I could go for the condensed. For illustration now, I'm just going to go for the full. So this is going to show all the notes that have been registered already for that loan. And if I want to create a new conversation, so let's say I'm the underwriter. So I have 3 personas. So I just select that I'm the underwriter. I could say that this is a general message, which is kind of like using this as like a logbook. Or I could say that this is specific. So I'm going to reach out to the loan officer and the processor. I have a choice of regular priority or high priority. And then I also can say that this is related to documents. And then from there, I'll say need updated pay stubs immediately. Okay, I could write anything. I could be a loan officer and say that Mr. is a truck driver, needs to close at a rest stop this way, and I can forward that to the closer. So once I hit send, it's always nice to know that technology works. So then we're going to have a pop-up message was sent successfully. The other cool part about this solution is that you can actually send a message to the closer before the closer is assigned, which that's important because now when somebody gets assigned to the loan, they get the whole backstory of what has happened and some targeted notes specific for them. If you're trying to look for notes to specific people, I could type in processor, and then I could find all the notes to the processor, to the officer, or whatnot. The problem today is that people are using email, texting, Slack, you name it. What we're trying to do is keep people in Encompass, avoid the distractions. And on top of that, when you're looking for that message, you have it right then and there. So, and then the other part is that, yes.
Just a quick question. So
Sure.
they were asking about, can you add a closer, but say a specific LO won't go to that closer when you're talking about getting as granular as you can?
So for the TMI log or
Yes.
for the auto roll?
I believe, and Julie, you can clarify, but I think it's for the TMI. Round robin.
So I'll say if the closer has been assigned, then you could reach out to the closer specifically. If the closer has not been assigned, can you reach out to an individual? As of right now, you're only reaching out to the file contacts. So they need to be in the contact to reach out to them through the TMI log. That being said, that if you want division managers to always be part of the TMI log, then through our auto roll assignment, or you might have a different way of doing so, that if you could always add them to a file contact for any file, so this way they could see it and they won't be bothered by general messages because they won't get a pop-up saying that there's a message waiting for them. So you could operate from that perspective. And the last thing I'll say on this is that the person will have a bell, and this bell will show you that you have messages waiting for these loans. And that's how. So we're not going to bother them with like pop-ups and alerts. It's a nice, subtle, you got a like basically a pulsating bell that's saying that you have messages waiting for you. Just click on it, read it, and then it goes away. So I'll say thank you so very much. I know this was a speed round for a lot of solutions, and then I'll open it up to questions and appreciate all your time.
Excellent, Brad. He always gives us great information, and he does it in a very quick manner. So I want to be sure that you get all of the information. Julie, please let me know if we answered your question regarding round robin and assigning it to a closer, but say that a specific LO won't go there. So if you have a follow-up question, please let me know. And then I did have...
and if it was regarding to the auto roll assignment, we can absolutely assign a processor to a specific loan officer or branch. So we can, all field IDs are usable within our solution. So we can say if the loan officer's last name is this, or there's some companies that just use one custom field and then they have a number associated to all their different employees. Then we could just say if number 19, then assign this processor, or again, branch or org ID, we could do that. So
okay.
I'll
and sorry, Julie, it looks like we did not answer her question. So I hope that follow-up answer was what she was looking for. We've got another one, custom fields available to leverage business logic. Yes,
custom fields. So for all of our solutions that we want to make sure that custom fields are usable. So that's accurate for all of our rules building engine, that you can use custom fields and native fields. And that's for Audit Explorer, Condition Manager, Auto Roll Assignment, Loan Information Panel. It's pretty much the whole gamut that we have right here.
Okay, sorry, I'm sending in information to Julie.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, we've got another question. What about virtual fields?
Virtual fields are really difficult. So we can latch onto them on some solutions, not all. And so I'll say it's solution by solution. So we could extract them. So I'll say sometimes yes, sometimes no. It would have to be on the solution that you're looking for.
Okay. And then how much time does it take to set up one of the auto rolls?
So I'll say I personally have offered consulting hours where, and it's not many, I have it down to a science that normally within 10 hours, I could help out with processing, underwriting, closing, and funding, where I speak to the division manager for a half hour or an hour. I ask them multiple questions of how do you disseminate? What do you do with employee loans? What do you do with FHA loans? What do you do with VA loans? What do you do with streamline loans? And I just ask the questions and I know how to kind of help drive the conversation. And when it's finished, I'll create notes that show this field, exclude that field, this waterfall order of employee first, then purchase second, then refinance third, however you want to proceed. But in the end, I can probably within 2 weeks of a signed SOW, if not less, I can have the first round of auto roll assignment like functional. And I personally recommend closers and funders first, then processors, then underwriters. Just that I say it's that order of technology adoption is much easier.
Well, and then I guess a follow-up question to that was what sort of resources would a lender have to commit to setting up some of these tools?
I try to put as much of the burden on my shoulders as possible. I call it like the dumbbell approach, where I'll need somebody in the beginning of like introduce me to the person, let me interrogate you in the nicest of manner of how do you want this solution to work? And then from there, I put all the onus on my shoulders. I'll devise the whole workflow, and then I'll have a second call to present my workflow. And then when I have a thumbs up, then I'll go build it, or my deployment manager will deploy and build the rules, and then we'll work with you on testing. So a little bit in the beginning, a little bit in the middle, and then we need you for testing, and then we can deploy and migrate it to production.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Brad. If you've got any more questions for Brad, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Now is the time. If you are coming to Miami for TMC Days Miami Nights, Brad will be part of our Lightning Showcase on Monday, the 21st. In the morning, and we would love to have you join us there. Please feel free to come back to TMC Connect anytime. Check out our member events calendar. We've got lots of programs for you, so we want to share that information with you. And once again, thank you guys so much. Know everybody is super busy, so we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. And
Also,
Brad, any closing remarks?
I'll be at the LMA experience, so if anybody's there, we'll have a very large booth over there. Please welcome to stop by and say hello. And again, if you want to reach out to me directly through LinkedIn or through the TMC, happy to help out with any questions or interest. Thank you so very much for everybody for your time.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Thanks.
Thank you, you too.
Bye.